On February 22, 2026, in the mountains of Jalisco, Mexican special forces closed in on one of the most hunted men in the world, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. The firefight was intense. Armed guards opened fire. Soldiers pushed forward. When it was over, several cartel members were dead, and El Mencho himself had been gravely wounded. He was loaded onto a military helicopter headed for Mexico City. He didn't survive the flight. Within hours of the news spreading, Mexico began to burn. Highways were blocked with hijacked trucks set on fire. Businesses were torched. Gun battles erupted in multiple states. In Guadalajara, one of Mexico's largest cities, panic spread near the airport as gunfire was reported nearby. In tourist-heavy Puerto Vallarta, smoke rose above the skyline and flights were canceled. U.S. authorities warned citizens to shelter in place. This was the cartel's message: you killed our leader, we can still shut down the country. But El Mencho's story did not begin in violence, it began in poverty. He was born in 1966 in a small farming village in Michoacán. His family grew avocados. He dropped out of school around the 5th grade. By his early teens, he was guarding marijuana fields with a rifle. The mountains around him didn't just grow crops, they grew opportunity for traffickers. As a young man, he crossed illegally into California. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, he was arrested in the United States for drug-related crimes and weapons charges. He served prison time and was deported back to Mexico. Then he did something unexpected. He became a local police officer. Whether he joined to survive or to study the system, the result was the same. He learned how law enforcement operated, how raids were planned, how corruption worked, where the weaknesses were. He didn't stay long, but the education stayed with him. By the late 2000s, after shifts in Mexican's criminal underworld, he helped form what would become the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, known as CJNG. The group combined aggressive business strategy with extreme paramilitary tactics. They weren't just traffickers, they operated like a private army. In 2015, during an operation to capture him, his gunmen shot down a Mexican military helicopter using a rocket-propelled grenade, the first time a cartel had done so in the modern drug war. 9 officers died. The message was clear: this was no ordinary criminal group. As the years passed, CJNG became one of the dominant suppliers of synthetic drugs, including fentanyl, entering the United States. Fentanyl is cheap to produce and extraordinarily lethal in tiny amounts. Since 2015, synthetic opioid overdoses have killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. CJNG was not alone in that trade, but it became one of the major pipelines. The United States offered a $15 million reward for information leading to his capture. Mexico added hundreds of millions of pesos more. He was indicted multiple times in Washington, D.C. on drug trafficking and conspiracy charges. In 2025, CJNG was designated by the U.S. government as a foreign terrorist organization. Yet, for over a decade, El Mencho remained a ghost. Few confirmed photos, no public appearances, no interviews. He moved between mountain compounds guarded by heavily armed men, some reportedly with military training. His family members were arrested one by one, his son extradited to the United States and sentenced to life plus 30 years, his daughter charged, his wife detained, his brothers taken into custody, but he stayed free. Until February 2026. The final operation reportedly involved Mexican Special Forces, national intelligence, and intelligence support from the United States. This time, there was no escape into the mountains. The man who had built one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world died from gunshot wounds before reaching the capital. And yet, His death did not bring immediate calm. Instead, it exposed a deeper truth. A cartel is not just one man. It is a network of money, weapons, supply chains, corruption, and global demand. Removing a leader can create power struggles. Rival groups may fight for territory. Violence can increase before it decreases. El Mencho's life followed a stark arc. Born in poverty, dropped out of school, migrated illegally, imprisoned, deported, briefly a police officer, then assassin, then cartel founder, then one of the most wanted men in the Western Hemisphere. By age 59, he was dead in a helicopter, surrounded by soldiers. His empire may fracture, new leaders may rise, the fentanyl trade may continue, the violence may shift but not disappear. In the end, this is not just the story of one drug lord. It is the story of how poverty, corruption, global drug demand, and weak institutions can combine to create someone powerful enough to challenge a state, and how even that power eventually runs out. For over a decade, he was untouchable. Then, he wasn't.